So I wanted to make a video on the updating of the style for this Event Organizers Toolkit box. It's an open source project. However, when I loaded it up, I realized that the backend had been updated with Express Session, and now we need a cookie in order to authenticate. So we couldn't access any of it. So that meant we needed to make a login instead. So just quickly go over that. And then the next video I do for this one will be a video of taking this base style application and then applying the styles to make it look like this. So anyhow, what we did, or what I did is I'll go over a couple little quick things. So first issue we had was that we needed in the back end, we needed to add a, why am I not seeing it right now? There it is, index. So we need to add credentials to our cores implementation. That's the first thing that needs to be done. That'll force cores to ensure that the cookie is being sent from the proper origin. The next thing you need to do was with Axios, create this little Axios service that's going to set up Axios with credentials, which is going to send credentials with every call to the API. And then we just set a base URL just so that within each individual service, for example, the authorization service, we just have to pass the endpoint of the API instead of having to pass an entire API string every time. And using this Axios service instead of importing Axios directly into each service just makes code, I guess, a little more dry because we don't have to keep creating a service with the credentials each time. So that's what we did in order to connect that. Created a registration page, registration form. It uses, we don't need that. The registration form uses Zod for validating the schema, and it uses what is it? Hook form, React hook form for the actual form. So what I did is created some reusable elements for React hook form. Where are they? Under forms. So the index file just loads up all the different files so that we can do a single import location. But for instance, here's the text form. So it's going to create a input in a div with a label, and it also has a little error span so that we can push our Zod errors directly to them. And then this is completely reusable, so we just have to send these props along with it, which are pretty standard props. And the important one is the hook for registering the form with React hook form. So that is the registration form and login form. And then in order to actually track the user, whether they're logged in, and to determine whether when we hit the main, I'll log out. So when you try to hit the root endpoint, it's going to redirect us to login, because in the root component, in the root layout, it is, nope, sorry, I lied. We can't do it in the root component because we need the outlet, or we won't get, sorry, we need this header to show up even if it's not authenticated. But the main page would be under events. So the event list page, there we go. We are importing auth context, which is some context that was made in the context provider. So we import that, which has all of the state that we need to check against. In this case, we only need to check against is logged in. So here's the auth context. It actually has access to setting the logged in and setting a user so that we can get information about the current user as well. So currently, if you were to refresh the page, we'd lose the login information, although we wouldn't lose the cookie. So that is a bit of a problem. We're going to have to set that somewhere in another cookie that's actually able to be accessed by JavaScript, because we can't access the one from the server. So that's where we are right now. I was hoping that this would be a styling video, but here we are. So anyhow, anyone who is following the project, it's good to know that we do have login and authentication, and all of these routes are now protected and able to be accessed from the front end. One thing that is going to have to happen is the back end team would need to send us a lookup for users that is a safe lookup with just the user ID and name, so that we can pull organizer names into the event form here. So anyhow, if anyone is interested in the project and wants to contribute, definitely give us a message on the GitHub. It's Event Organizers Toolbox, and I'll put a link in everywhere this is posted. Till next time.